I'm working on the moon, which appears in the background of this kind of cosmic scene. I usually don't let people film me doing my makeup because it is like such a solitary moment for me, like preparing for a performance. Before I put on the makeup, I'm performing in ways that I'm unconscious of and sometimes conscious of. And after I put on the makeup, I am performing in a way that is like very intentional. So this moment in between is almost like the only time that's not performative. I kind of think about my practice as a whole universe that I'm building. And every work is like another window into like a different part of that. It's a fantasy that builds on itself. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, and her hobby was Cantonese opera. Her two favorite actors were these two women. They played romantic lead roles opposite each other. Batshut scene was the Dan role, the female lead role, who's usually the romantic interest of Yam Kim Phai, who would play the Shang role. And they were rumored to actually be lesbian lovers. This was one of my earliest memories of really seeing like queer representations anywhere. I was very aware of these different roles and archetypes, but also aware that even though the roles were strict, the kind of rules of who was allowed to play the roles weren't. When I came to London from Toronto, I became involved in the queer community before I started studying. I was making a lot of flyers for lesbian and queer nights. I was doing murals in clubs. That was the context that I started to do drag in. I actually really kept it very separate from my art practice. Using film, I felt that I could have some agency over how I was being framed. I could narrate people's experience of looking so that I could create a kind of interruption.
Look at her. Look at her mouth. Look at the way she parts her lips slightly to give the appearance of being receptive.
A lot of my characters bleed in and out of each other a little bit. They kind of change every time they appear in a different part of the universe.
Today's top story. I want to perform something I am not until it comes naturally. And I do it so well, you are convinced of it too.
Wai Kin is a character that I used to just play with masculinity and try to push it to its limits. Enjoying that performance of it, but at the same time making fun of it a little bit. As soon as I had 4 masculine characters, I was like, it's time to make the boy band.
It's always you. You're like infinity.
I grew up with NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. They were everywhere in popular culture when I was a kid, so they definitely are there in my consciousness. And when I started to make this work, I was also becoming interested in some K-pop groups, a Hong Kong boy band called Mirror. They were a big influence. I think their byline on Instagram is "Together we reflect infinite possibilities" or something like that, which was like a sign. boy bands are this perfect representation of how identity is constructed and consumed within capitalism. Each member is usually hyper-individualized, but really they can't exist on their own. Together they form a whole person.
So that's the sunlight and that's the moonlight, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. I think I do want to make sure that there is enough face light for both of them.
This is the key light.
Okay.
Many parts of my practice are incredibly solitary. There's the writing part of it, the research part of it. But as soon as I have a script and a shot list, I need other people to help me realize it. Should we photograph the white shoes first?
That's it. That feels like a moment.
This is doing it, yeah, definitely.
For an artist like Wai Kin and like the presentation of characters and what their background might be, the fitting is a place that you kind of really like refine that and figure it out. And
It's like finding the look that makes me be the character. I know when my body language starts to change that is kind of, getting warmer. I love this tassel, almost feels like a bit Chinese opera.
Yeah. All right, I'm happy with that.
On a shoot, I'm wearing lots of hats. I'm doing my makeup, first of all. Like, don't be precious with it.
Okay.
This stuff is. I think we need to move the clocks a little bit further in.
okay.
I am acting and directing at the same time. Let's try it again.
Okay.
It's this constant doing the thing and then looking at the thing and refining it. But I hate being told what to do, so I wouldn't let anybody direct me.
Cut.
So this is a script of The Time of Our Lives, of the science fiction sitcom. It's really modeled off of these sitcoms that represent these stereotypical or archetypal families.
Do you want to run through both the scripts all the way through?
Like I was pulling at what was intrinsic to my nature, or pulling at the very nature of nature.
The writing of this work was really thinking about time and how it's not fixed, and the fact that everybody has their own experience of reality.
It must have been a long minute.
It's a two-channel work where one channel is the sitcom itself and the other channel is the live studio audience that is watching the sitcom and reacting to the sitcom and the cues that are being given to them.
Pulling at the very nature of nature.
My goodness, that sounds painful. Did you go to a doctor?
Funnily enough, the doctors just didn't believe me.
Your relationships with other people and of course yourself become solidified by how people react to you.
I thought the reactions were good.
Yeah, I thought they were really good.
So maybe if I kind of do this, then kind of get more intense. Portraits is a series of moving image portraits of 5 of my characters, inspired by works of the art canon. The universe poses as Lucy's dreaming of a butterfly, inspired by Taoism. where a philosopher has a dream so vivid that when he wakes up, he's no longer sure if he's a man dreaming he's a butterfly or a butterfly dreaming he's a man. It was almost like a key to unlock things like self and other, performance and authenticity, fantasy and reality, waking and dreaming. There are so many ways that we split ourselves into binaries and categories. And actually all of these things, all of these systems are connected. Frida Kahlo's self-portrait with cropped hair. It references a really personal moment of transformation. Cutting my hair was a real act of care for myself. They pose with a large meat cleaver, a Cantonese cooking utensil. It belonged to my grandmother and is a tool that I now use to cook meals for my friends. There are a lot of things that are incredibly personal in my work, but I hide them behind fantasy and science fiction or symbols to try to reflect on universal experiences. I really try to have elements in the work, in the installation, that literally invite people into the works. Showing all of the costumes and tools that have been used to create the fantasy. That's really important to me because I feel that we live in a society that does not show how things are constructed and teaches you that they're natural or somehow really true. Our nature, our beliefs, our ethics are all narratives. Storytelling not only represents but creates realities. Storytelling is a tool to construct other perspectives that you can immerse yourself in and then be able to see the world that we exist in a different light.